Okay, so as I was thinking about the dodge history and dodge lock request, I was kind of thinking, what commands do I always want to dodge lock? And delete is easy because if I'm deleting something, it doesn't matter if it has history, it just needs to go away. But then when I got to the dodge history, I started to realize a few things. Like on these commands, rotate 3D, mirror 3-point, and mirror X, I almost never want history on. Let me show you why. So I need to work on this, and it's not that I don't want history. So we've got that, and the goal with a 3-prong is to have these prongs all kind of be in a line, not to be straight, jump over and be straight. So you kind of want this one to line up over there. So I'm going to say rotate 3D again, and just kind of get it a little bit more in line, and then we'll say mirror. We're not on 0, we're up here at 30, so we're just going to mirror across the X at Y30, and then we're good to go. But I'll get to noticing in here and go, oh, this is kicked up a little bit too high, so I want to rotate the whole thing just a smidge, and then boom. That's why I don't want history. And then the other thing is I start off working at 0, 0, because that's the most comfortable place to work, and I throw it up here at 0, 30, and then at some point I'll want to swap where I start working on things in this space, and 0, 0 is the most comfortable place to work. So I have a macro for that too, and I'll click on that and move it down, and you can see that everything moved great because none of these guys had history, but this absolutely has history because this is my workaround, which is if I take this, I have like 100 little places around my file that I can take and make a little 0, 0 construction plane to build things on, so that I get history. And all I have to do is flow it along this curve, and everything updates. Okay, that works to a point, but let me show you another example. So let's say I want these guys to have this same prong profile, like the same curvature and everything. Okay, I'm going to orient copy. We are going to go off of this edge at a 45, and we want to be on the same ortho at 45. Okay. So now I have these two prongs. Everything is great. Pipe this, cap, round, diameter 1.1. Okay. I can mirror this, and then mirror Y, and then do the same thing over here. Pipe 1.05, so it's a little smaller. Mirror, and then mirror X. Okay, so I've got both of these two, and then I do my little workaround, rigid yes, without stretching, and pop that onto there. Take this, flow onto there. And see, now I've got control over the angle of how everything lines up. But the thing I'm missing is, okay, I gotta change the size of this stone. I change the size, and now, if I move that curve back out to that point, I lose history. So the request is that for commands that accept a reference point, that it accepts a comparable piece of geometry. So instead of a physical reference location, except a reference point. So this curve, like I just did with rotate 3D, rotate 3D would accept 2 points on this curve or the curve itself. And that way, if the curve moves, rotate 3D updates history. Or for copy, a from point and a to point. Loft. Loft accepts a point to terminate the loft. I would love for that to actually be a point, because there's a lot of times I need to adjust, the end of that blend, make it, give it more room to travel, or make it a tight turn. Rotate 3D, take a curve. Mirror, take a curve. So if I want to mirror this, I give it a curve, and then it knows the 2D mirror. Or mirror 3-point. I have absolutely no problem. Like, I already put points in and a curve in. I would have no problem adding a plane, so that mirror 3-point, I could just feed it this plane instead of having to click on the plane. And that way, when I rotate my reference and the geometry, the mirror updates, everything goes with it. There's lots of commands that accept a location. Revolve. I don't find revolve very useful, because I rather keep a curve in here and do a sweep 1, when revolve would probably give a little bit better of a surface. I'm not sure. I don't use it that much, because I use sweep 1. That way I'm not locked to a physical location. I can move this curve and that curve, and everything updates. Sometimes this flows out too far and I need to move it so I have more space to work, and that breaks everything. Once I put this here and start this here, I can't move it because it's tied to physical locations. And this flow is a great workaround, but I would so much rather, like this curve, that's not its final place. I'll spend a lot of time over here. Let me break history on that. I'll spend a lot of time over here on this curve, getting it to line up right. And I get the live preview here, but I have to wait for it to update in history to update for it to go here. I would much rather set up a temporary construction plane out here and be able to edit this. Be able to edit this and see how it's going to blend in. Rotate from here. This actually goes out to there. This one goes, over to there. And now those guys are toast. That needs to be mirrored. And that way you have, kind of a straight line, and you fiddle with this a little bit. And it's great to have this workaround, but the fiddling takes longer when you're doing it here instead of the actual place. I have to take my curve and flow it onto here so I can see there's a curve in there that I bend and then pipe. Same thing on this one. Like, I need that curve to see how much to bend it so that when it's over here, it's in the right place. So point, line, planar surf, let the commands accept that for the reference. Anyways, that is the request. All right, thank you.